So on my wall here, this is where I keep all the ideas for videos that I want to make. And something I wanted to touch on was perfectionism. And just the other day, my girlfriend pointed out to me that I actually spelled perfectionism wrong. So, yeah. It is a cold and beautiful morning in Rochester, New York. Perfectionism, refusal to accept any standard short of perfection. However, perfect doesn't really exist, or perfect is at least subjective. What is perfect to you may not be perfect to someone else, and so on and so forth. That said, Seriously? That was my cat. She tore my mic off. Where was I? Perfectionism. When I hear perfectionism, to me, I just hear excuse. We've all met artists or have artist friends who hesitate to show their work, and when you ask them why that is or when they're going to put out something, it always usually comes down to, I'm too much of a perfectionist. I want my work to be perfect before it's seen. I can attest for this because I've been that artist. But really, in actuality, what I've come to learn is that, well, you're just making up an excuse to not put work out. But even with all of that said, I still totally struggle with the idea of perfectionism or expectations of what are or how my work will be perceived, which is exactly why I chose to start this video with filming a bunch of footage of my city with absolutely no idea as to why I was doing it. And the same applies to this channel. Even with this thing, I've been wanting to post consistently twice a week for a long time now, but I haven't because, well, I hesitate or I'm afraid to make half the content I want, even though I have a wall of ideas that I haven't executed on. Why is that? Because, well, to be completely frank, I am oftentimes concerned about the expectations of my channel. I started kind of as a video game channel, but I also do things about creativity and content creation and freelance life and all of that jibber jabber. And will my audience want to watch a video about perfectionism? Will my audience want to watch my rendition of MTV Cribs? But at the end of the day, they're excuses. So how do I deal with perfectionism? How do I overcome it? And my whole thing is by confining myself and forcing myself to have to do something, to show up and produce content regardless of whether or not I like it or if I think somebody else will like it, which is why I started this channel with the whole thing of uploading once a week. It confines me in such a way that gets me over my own bullshit and forces me to just put stuff out. Another excuse that I often hear kind of coinciding with the idea of perfectionism is quantity versus quality. And though I kind of empathize with the whole idea of wanting to create quality videos or things versus just producing as much as possible, how can you possibly understand what quality is without honing in on your craft by creating a mass quantity of things? Lily, do you want to tell everyone what's upstairs? She'll never tell. The key takeaway is that perfect does not exist and essentially is the ultimate creative killer. And I think the best way to overcome perfectionism is to create as much as possible, to be as prolific as you possibly can, and most importantly, to show all of the things that you're creating. And in doing so, the one thing that I constantly remind myself whenever I hesitate with doing something or I don't think I'm as good as I actually am at something or something of that nature, I remind myself that by having done anything, you become more credible in that thing you're attempting to do than not having done it at all. With all that said, this video is done. And now I can throw that damn post-it note out. Perfectionism.